Good afternoon, all you fine folks. I'm currently knee-deep in Dante hell. Look at all these switches. This is just... Here's some more. What? Here you go. Oh. Here's a couple more hiding. So there you go. Trying to start something new, which comes with exciting news, but getting this off the ground kind of sucks. I'm having to learn like a whole different side of stuff that I'm not prepared for. But that's exciting. I'm getting to learn. At the other end of this, it's going to be awesome. But I've seen on a couple comments of the videos, you guys want a mic locker tour. Now, I don't have a traditional locker. Most of my mics stay out. But you want to talk microphones? Who am I to say no? Realizing now, this has to be super fast. This is going to be a really long video. Quick disclaimer before we get started. I'm going to speak very, very quickly on each microphone. Now, the thing to remember here, you don't need a whole lot of mics. I don't want this to seem like a flex. I don't want this to seem like, look at all this stuff I have. I do YouTube, as well as having like a functioning commercial studio. I get some mics to play with. So what I hope this can be is, if I can speak to some of the uses of some of these microphones, it could help you inform gathering an effective small collection of mics, if that's something that you want. Hearing what they're good at, hearing what they're bad at may help inform a decision that helps suit you, because nothing is more of a waste of money than a microphone that sounds good, but it's one you didn't need. This is going to be a very condensed version because we've got a lot of microphones to cover. So let's start at the drums. So, walking up real quick, R44 on room close. This gets used for way more than just drums. Fantastic on guitars, fantastic on vocals. Like this is an AEA R44. It's amazing. Very expensive. Drums, let's talk drums. Overheads, 013 tube condensers. We're currently setting up some 013 FETs on a mono overhead and a spot mic. In this room, I like having the small diaphragm condensers. This whole back wall is super dead, and then the rest of the room is very live. I like to bring the kit out sometimes when we can, but if it's backed up into this corner, these smaller diaphragm condensers, but they're kind of like right in the middle. They have a larger diaphragm than typical small diaphragm condensers. So kind of in between that like really large diaphragm stuff and a small diaphragm, but you're getting like a really cool stereo picture 100% of the time, just about. I've got a Beta 91 there hiding on kick in. On this little stand right here, what was just there, a Beyer M88. Those two mics together, the 91 and the M88, are just, I am loving this pair. And right now, because I was using Clarion in a different spot, Clarion is typically my kick out. This JZ is no slouch, I'm finding. This thing's fantastic. Also, that JZ mic, this is a sleeper. Awesome on guitar cabs, awesome on bass cabs. It's really dark in the best way possible. JZ Vintage 11. DM20s on the toms. What I normally run on my toms are Lauten LS308s. I actually have the new tom mic just came in today, so I'm super excited to try these out. The DM20s are killer. You guys have heard me say this 100 times. They're marketed as being good at reducing bleed. They are not. There's a ton of bleed on these things, but the bleed sounds great. SM81 hi-hat just sounds good. Lauten tom mic. I haven't had this for more than about a year, but man, it's a monster. So I'm very excited to try the tom mic from Lauten. It's like Lauten don't miss. Under, poorly placed right now because we're just getting set up. MD421 mic under, pretty cool. And there's always mics around set up ready to go. I mean, here's an SM58 just chilling. I don't know why. So for a session we were recording live vocals with drums in the room, we had the LS208 from Lauten. This is a killer mic, reduces bleed. Amazing on kick-in, amazing on guitar cab. It's just tasty. This thing, oh buddy. Once you start to play with a whole lot of different mics, you can realize that everybody's got their own thing. This is a Vanguard V44 stereo, and I adore this mic. You can spin the top capsule and kind of get the like a placement that you really need from this thing. It comes with a decoder box, which is hiding from me right now, and you can do mid-side right here on the box. You've also got a spot for the top and bottom, and then you can flip the phase if needed. Super handy just to have that as opposed to like a breakout cable. Really cool microphone. Awesome on stringed instruments, awesome on piano, awesome on room, killer on overhead, and it's very affordable. Vanguard. Not a whole lot of stuff out there about them, not nearly enough. Cool guy making those, very small company. My my typical drum room here, the R88, AEA R88, in a bloom line situation, just awesome. When you've got a drum room, you can also slap this thing on overheads. I have a one mic video of this. It's killer on acoustics, vocals. It's just, it don't miss. Still use 017. I mean, I was using one of these, the tube version, as a vocal mic for a long time. I still do. When it is right, it is so right. Big bottom, juicy silky top. This is the FET version, so it's got kind of more of like a grunt in there. Really cool on acoustics. Ooh, my on-camera mic is one of my Shep's MK21s. Very, like, what you get in is what you get out microphone. Love those. Incredible overheads, or if you're recording like a string quartet type of thing, oh my gosh. Beyer M88. I just put a video out on this one and the 160, which is over on the shelf over there. I mean, this thing, I definitely had to do more work on the vocals for this, but everything else was almost effortless. Guitar cabs, kick. It was just such a cool mic. Beyer is doing some cool stuff. These are the new Lauten tom mics. I have not tried these yet. They're telling me as it kind of keeps the characteristics of the 308, which was tons of control on the kit, but it has like a much more natural or much more present sound where topping where you would have to add a top to high end for the 308s. Now it just kind of does it, which I am stoked to try out. 2 mystery boxes. One, this is not a microphone, but I just want you guys to see this. An original Boss chorus with the depth mod on it. Just insane. A buddy's letting me borrow this, so you want to see a video on this of hugging it up and using it in a DAW context. That's what's coming down the pike. Here's a new one for you. Ambisonic. I have gotten really interested in ambisonic capture and the things you can do with it. Super interesting. It sounds incredible on drums, incredible on rooms. Reverb captures. Woo. Let's go to the shelf. Look at this. Start over here, like Guitar Pedal City. These are my like super mobile mics, the ones that I move around a whole lot. So over here, Lewitt Array. If you guys listen to Phantom Power Hour podcast, which I highly recommend you do, the podcast I do weekly with Josh Bass Mountain, you hear these every week. Fantastic proximity sensing mics. Or the LCT 440 Pure, also Lewitt. Just a dumb, affordable workhorse of a mic. This is the AKG 314. You get some of the stuff you like out of a 414 if you know what a 414 is and you like that sound, which I really do. Although, if you're purchasing this, don't expect it to be a 414. It is not. It sounds very different. Complete capsule. It's very different. An old blue, what is this, a spark or a bottle? I don't know. This is here. I got it on sale on Facebook Marketplace with the intention to mod it, and I have not yet. Still, super affordable, really cool mic. Lauten 220s. Oh my gosh, if there was a bang for the buck, this is on the list. You'll probably hear that a few times with Lauten. Their price points just do not correspond to the quality that you get in the best way possible. Overheads, guitar cabs, bass cabs, it's just rooms. I mean, yeah, you can't go wrong. They're very affordable. KSM 32s. I am a big fan of buying mics used, and you can find these used all day, everywhere. These are built like absolute tanks, and they are very flat for like a mid-range condenser. Really killer. I use these on tom mics for a long time. If you want that just huge sound, incredible vocal, incredible room. Just, I mean, really good. You're locked into a cardioid on these, but they're still pretty flexible. One of my 57s. There you go. Nice and boring. A couple Rode NT1s. These things surprise me for the price. We've used these on the podcast. I've used them on room mics. I've used them to mic up a piano. I mean, they're great. It's Rode. Not my favorite mic to pull from, but every time I put it up, I will say I'm not disappointed. If anything, I'm surprised because of the price point. Sony C80. If you like kind of the C800 thing, that bright thing, this can get you in that area. Don't mistake that for me saying this is a C800 because it is not. Definitely still a really cool mic. If you have like a dark source, that is a good move. Another DM20 here. We already talked about those. A measurement mic from my old Sonarworks setup. Bayer M160. Just did the video with the M88 over there on one of my new songs. Just an absolutely killer mic. So now we kind of get into some, like, it's just gonna be a random assortment from here, but let's go. Couple Transformerless 57s. I boiled these and took out the transformers, and what you end up with is something way lower output but has a way better bottom end in it, and it's not as hairy. So really, really cool mod. I wouldn't do it if it's your only 57, but man, if you have a couple of them, can't go wrong. A little Behringer B5 just to have as an extra something. Another MD421. I have one on snare bottom. I do not like these on toms, which I know is where everybody puts them. I really like them for guitar cabs, snare bottoms, like stuff like that. Clarion, man, if there was a sleeper, this is the sleeper of sleepers. This thing is just a workhorse, man. I mean, kick out, amazing. Vocals, amazing. Choir, I've recorded choir with it. If you guys look up B. Tolez and the KOP, there's a song called Jesus. This was all over that record on drums and on choir. Incredible. Austrian Audio. I have not had a microphone that intrigued me more than this one in a very long time, as far as like how the company came to be when AKG left the factory, and they kind of continued the legacy that they had there. and the crazy flexibility that this thing can do with dual element. Super interesting mic. And oh, it's unbelievable. I have a whole video doing a one mic with this, so for sure check that out. The OC818, an old EV RE20. No, I'm sorry. That's an RE20. This is an RE38 ND. This thing is a super interesting mic. You can get different EQ patterns depending where you set this. Really interesting mic. It's very temperamental and hard to keep working. I've had to replace this cable multiple times. It just tends to break, but that's vintage stuff. That's what you're gonna get. SM7B, what is there to say that has not already been said? This thing's a legend. It's pretty gain hungry, but with most modern DAWs or with most modern interfaces, you can give it plenty of gain to make it useful. Interesting kind of cousin of that, the MV7 Plus. I just did a video on this. Very ugly microphone, but it sounds great. And it can be an interface. So the tools we have access to now. Cheap little Amazon special that I wanted to try out and see if I could make a $19 Amazon mic sound good. No, this thing sounds like trash, complete trash. So now it's just a reminder to not buy crap. We're moving up a shelf, folks. These are pretty cool. These are old PML branded microphones, and these are actually, if I can get it in the right spot, rectangled. There's a rectangle element in here. Really interesting. The pickup pattern of this mic is set with a dial and 3 switches on the bottom. This was a pawn shop find, and it was an incredible pawn shop find by my dad. I have a chart over here that I have to keep because depending on what pattern I want on the microphone, I need to know how to set those switches, and each one of them has a different frequency layout with each one of these, and you can get something very, very flat with these. But weirdly, if it's in cardioid, it is not flattering. So not flattering at all. Not how I typically use that mic. But these were awesome overheads. I think this is before PML was bought by MyLab, or MyLab bought PML. I don't know. Really cool mics. Very not fast. What the heck? Siri's talking to me from the other room. Another 81. I mean, can't go wrong with having 81s around. Buy them used. They're tanks. Onyx D6, because you kind of got to. I kind of hate this microphone. I do not like it on kick. I think it actually belongs on toms, but I had thought multiple times about making a video called I Hate the D6, all while trying to talk myself into liking this mic. This is an old, looks like an old Audio-Technica 2020, which is probably the best $99 microphone out there, but I modded it with a mic parts mod and it sounds incredible. I think the mod was $100. The mic itself is $100. Chances are in your area, like you can find these on Marketplace for like $40. It's a good mic for $40. It's a good mic for $100. This is a monster. The Lewitt Pure Tube condenser, one of the lowest self noise tube condensers that I have ever run into. I mean, it is very accurate, almost to a fault. But when you want that sound, this is a very nice sound. And the cool thing that they do, like you actually get a usable pop filter that just magnetically attaches right here. And it's your whole setup. It's so cool. And their design here, I mean, it looks like the freaking bat wing or something. I don't know. But the way you get it out of the shock mount is just lift that and the mic's out. Same thing here with like the angle. Lewitt, man, the design philosophy out there and what they're doing, I'm a big fan. Like their more affordable line of stuff is super useful, and their high-end stuff, I mean, I've tried the Pure Tube. I haven't tried like the flagship. This is an old CAD, I think Ecutech E200. Somebody sent this to me to try out, and I have not got it working. For whatever reason, I cannot get this thing to function, but it looks so cool. I want it to sound good. Mount right here, and then your XLR points here. I mean, there's heft here. This is a big old boy. Really want it to work. If you know anything about this mic, let me know. Soyuz 023 Black Brass Edition. If you see Hobo Rec recordings, he puts these on a lot of live stuff. They're great. Kick out guitar cabs, vocals. I mean, workhorse. Here's the same thing, but a different color. I have another Lauten LS208. David Royer is a genius. Mojave. We've got a couple Mojave mics and one more coming, hopefully. These are the MADs, like David Royer's first design on what a dynamic mic should sound like, and it's insane, as most things that David Royer designs are. Really, just killer on guitar cabs, snare, vocals. I mean, it is among the top picks of dynamic mics out there. It definitely does something different than the M88. It does something different than a 57. It's just a really cool mic. Wish I could spend more time on these. I'm blowing through these fast. MikTek CV4. This was my first really nice tube condenser. Awesome mic. There are mods for this, and people get just stupid sounds out of this microphone. Does not take very much SPLs before it just gets obliterated. That is one of the weak points here, but it is a killer vocal mic. Definitely an underrated mic, especially at its price point. MikTek, really good design with this. The mod for it that you can get costs more than the mic itself, but it sounds unreal. But I haven't been able to justify that. So another Schoeps MK21 that came in a stereo pair. I believe they're 3,200 for the pair, and you can change out the capsules. Basically what you have here is an amplifier body, that's this side, and then interchangeable tops, which most small diaphragm condensers kind of do, and even some large diaphragm condensers. Very precise. I've recorded orchestras with these, overheads, anything you want to sound exactly like your source. It is hard to go wrong with Schoeps. Gefell UM70. This one gave me some headaches for a long time. Gefell made some insane mics, and this is one of them. I mean, this sounds so good, so vibey. I had it broken for a long time, just recently got it fixed, but finding parts for this is an absolute nightmare. But if you can find one used that works, it's a steal. Very good microphone. Very good, very vibey, very hairy. But if you want kind of an attitude lead vocal, woo, buddy. AKG C414. There are so many different versions of this microphone. This is not the best one, but I mean, they're workhorses. You can put them just about anywhere and they're gonna sound great. Acoustic guitar, snare bottom. I love it on snare bottom. Kick out. Vocals, obviously. I mean, you can do a lot. Like I said at the beginning of this video, you don't need a massive collection. You need a few mics to do whatever you need them to do. If you record drums, if you record vocals, there's a lot of crossover there. You can use a lot of those same mics. Are you recording all these things at the same time? Do you need them all to be set up at the same time? Do you need different flavors? Are you doing different genres? Do you work in one genre? Like, all these are questions that you need to ask before you start thinking like, I need a collection like this. You absolutely do not. You don't. Mojave MA300. Again, David Royer strikes, and this dude is just so much low end on this thing. Great bass cab. The fattest snare mic you will ever use. It's just so vibey. It's so good. It's so nice and squishy on the bottom, and it can take some SPLs. David Royer is just a genius. When my Manly reference cardioid bit the dust, I took a risk on a Soyuz 017 tube long time ago, and just great vocal mic. It's a flagship for sure. Fantastic mics. Over here on one of the guitar cabs, we've got a 1973 Soyuz 1973. I mean, there's countless videos on YouTube of the 1973 just doing its thing and sounding awesome. Let's see what's in the guitar ISO booth, if anything. Oh, here we go. So hiding in the guitar ISO booth, another 57, and a new heavy hitter for me, the Chandler TG Type L. Just did a video on this one about a month ago, maybe. Just solid mic. I mean, 2 different circuits here. I have fallen in love with it on guitar cabs. Very cool design from a very cool company. We take a walk to the vocal booth. Sometimes I'll set up guitar cabs and stuff in here, but mainly a vocal booth. And here we have the Loudon Eden. You guys keep telling me that I need to try the Atlantis, and I have not tried it, but the Eden is just so good. It's so good, and it's so good for so many people, which I appreciate. So I think the trick is to have mics that sound good on as many people as you can get them to sound good on. Loudon Eden having different circuits that will just give you more ammunition to sound good on different people, and the Chandler in the guitar booth, different circuits, just getting different sounds out of the stuff you already have. Well guys, I think that is every mic that I have in here. Let me know if you like stuff like this. If you want a different kind of tour, let me know. Hit the like button, subscribe for more. I'm Resident Loser Jeremy, and I'll see you in the next one.